The wind howled through the Alaskan wilderness like a wounded animal, carrying with it the promise of death to anything foolish enough to brave the storm. Marcus Webb, 73 years old and weathered like the mountains themselves, had seen worse. 50 years of trapping in these unforgiving lands had taught him to respect the cold, but never to fear it. He was checking his northernmost trap line when he heard it, a sound that didn't belong in this frozen wasteland. A scream, high-pitched, desperate, and utterly alien. Marcus pushed through the blizzard, his rifle ready, expecting perhaps a wounded animal or a lost hiker. What he found instead would change everything humanity thought it knew about the universe. She was curled against a fallen log, her body trembling violently. At first glance, she appeared human, a young woman, perhaps 20, with delicate features and long silver hair that seemed to shimmer even in the dim light. But as Marcus drew closer, the differences became impossible to ignore. Her skin held a faint luminescence like moonlight trapped beneath the surface. Her eyes, wide with terror, were entirely violet with no visible pupils, and she wore nothing but the tattered remains of what looked like a metallic bodysuit, leaving most of her exposed to the killing cold. Jesus Christ, Marcus breathed, his decades of wilderness experience momentarily abandoned in the face of the impossible. The girl's eyes locked onto his and she let out another scream, not of fear, he realized, but of relief. She scrambled toward him on hands and knees, her movements weak and uncoordinated. When she reached him, she clutched at his heavy parka with surprising strength, her luminescent skin already showing the dark patches of severe frostbite. Marcus didn't waste time with questions. Whatever she was dying. He shrugged off his outer coat and wrapped it around her, then hoisted her into his arms. She weighed almost nothing, and her body temperature was so low it shocked him even through his gloves. No human could survive long at that temperature. The trek back to his cabin took 40 minutes that felt like hours. The girl remained conscious, her violet eyes never leaving his face, one hand always gripping his shirt as if afraid he might disappear. She made sounds, attempts at communication, but nothing Marcus could understand. The language was musical, filled with harmonics that seemed impossible for a human throat to produce. Inside the cabin, Marcus worked with practiced efficiency. He placed her near the wood stove, but not too close. Warming someone with severe hypothermia too quickly could kill them. He wrapped her in every blanket he owned, prepared warm broth, and tried not to think about the impossibility of what he was doing. "Where did you come from?" he asked, knowing she couldn't understand. "What happened to you?" The girl watched him intently as he moved, her eyes tracking his every gesture. When he brought her the broth, she sniffed it cautiously, then drank with desperate hunger. As warmth gradually returned to her body, the luminescence of her skin brightened and Marcus could see patterns, like circuitry or constellations, briefly glowing beneath the surface. Over the next 3 days, Marcus learned several things about his unexpected guest. First, she was incredibly resilient. Injuries that should have caused permanent damage were healing at a visible rate. Second, she was intelligent. She picked up English words with startling speed, pointing at objects and repeating their names until she had them perfect. Third, and most unsettling, she refused to let him out of her sight. Whenever he tried to step outside, even just to gather firewood, she would become agitated, grabbing his arm and making distressed sounds. At night, she slept on the floor next to his bed, one hand always touching his arm or the bed frame. It was as if she believed that maintaining physical proximity to him was essential for her survival. "What are you so afraid of?" Marcus asked on the 4th morning, as she clutched his sleeve while he tried to check his trap lines visible from the window. She looked up at him, and for the first time she spoke in broken English. "They find, they take, you safe, you keep safe." Marcus felt a chill that had nothing to do with the temperature. "Who's looking for you?" She touched his chest right over his heart. "Human, strong, they fear human." It took several more days of patient conversation, supplemented by drawings in the ash from the fireplace, for Marcus to piece together her story. Her name was something unpronounceable, but she accepted when he called her Luna for her silver hair. She was from a ship, a massive vessel that harvested resources from uninhabited worlds. But Earth wasn't uninhabited, and her people had made a terrible mistake. Humans, she explained, were unique in the galaxy. Most sentient species had evolved on worlds with gentle climates and abundant resources. They had never needed to develop the stubborn resilience, the aggressive adaptability, the sheer bloody-minded refusal to die that characterized humanity. When Luna's ship had tried to establish an outpost in the Antarctic, the human military response had been swift and devastating. "We think humans weak," Luna said, her English improving daily. "Small, soft, no fur, no armor. But humans don't stop. Humans fight in cold and heat and poison air. Humans make weapons from anything. Humans, scary." Her ship had crashed during the retreat. The crew had scattered, and Luna, as a junior technician, had been left behind. She had wandered for days before Marcus found her, certain she would die in the cold that seemed designed to kill anything that walked upon it. "But you found me," she said, looking at him with those impossible violet eyes. "Old human, kind human. You saved Luna when you could. Leave to die," Marcus snorted. "Couldn't do that. Wouldn't be right." "This," Luna said firmly, "this is why humans dangerous. Other species, they see weakness. They exploit. Humans see weakness. They protect. Humans save enemy. Humans adopt broken things. This is weapon no one prepared for." 3 weeks after he had found her, Marcus woke to find Luna sitting by the window, staring at the aurora borealis dancing across the sky. She looked healthier now, her skin glowing with soft light, the patterns beneath its surface pulsing gently. "Your people will come looking for you," Marcus said, joining her. Luna nodded. "Yes, soon. Afraid to come, but they will. For Luna." She turned to him, and there were tears in her alien eyes. "I not want to go. I want stay with old Trapper, safe here, happy here." Marcus felt something tighten in his chest. In all his years alone in the wilderness, he had never felt lonely, until now when he imagined the cabin without her strange, luminous presence. "When they come," he said slowly, "will they hurt you for being found by a human?" "No," Luna said with certainty. "They will fear me, because I know now what makes humans strong. I know the secret." She smiled, an expression that looked both alien and achingly human. "The secret is humans care, even when it hurts. Even when it's hard, humans care." Outside, the northern lights continued their eternal dance, and in a small cabin in the Alaskan wilderness, an old trapper and a lost alien sat together, watching the sky and waiting for whatever came next. In that moment, Marcus understood what Luna had been trying to tell him all along. Humanity's greatest strength had never been its weapons or its technology. It was something far more dangerous to a universe that had forgotten compassion. Humanity's stubborn, irrational, beautiful refusal to let others suffer alone. And that, more than any military might, was why the galaxy would learn to respect the small, soft, furless apes from the third planet of an unremarkable star. Because humans, against all logic and self-interest, would wade into a blizzard to save a stranger, and having saved them once would never let them face the dark alone again.